tree. I am a tree. I like seeing in the crab and the hermit on your for your thing. That's awesome.
Yeah. Hermit's a crab's laugh.
Do you have a mod on your voice? What the fuck?
I might turn it on accident.
It's
Oh,
back.
I was like, damn, I gotta step it up.
I was like, who's this?
Same.
Here we go! No. Let's see. Off?
We're gonna be starting in about a minute or two. If anyone's watching the stream, hopefully let me know if the volume and stuff is okay and the music and stuff. And thank you for viewing.
Like since I've joined this guild, I've started communicating in, GIFs and memes way more than I used to.
That's a good thing or a bad thing?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Oh, no.
Don't know.
Your memes have made you strong. Now take your father's place by my side.
No.
I mean, our whole generation can talk with just SpongeBob memes, so yeah.
I mean, gifts are the greatest thing we've made in the last 20 years. I'm just going to put that out there.
The genetics of the soul.
All right, well, it sounds like we are all here. Excelente. Yes, sir. Under your gift sheet section, you also have access to your sand. So
Good.
you have to change the save points and do whatever else you gotta do. But sweet. Let's get into this. Hopefully the sound check and everything's working out. Just to make it official, Domingo,
Yes.
Al Shahad,
Present.
Otis.
Yup.
Sweet. Oh, looks like we got a volume check. Thank you very much. Everything sounds good. Everything sounds good. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Everything overlay good. Yeah, we are in business. Thank you all for joining me for the mini-series Crimes Against Magic. I'm sure it's going to be quite the ride. Each of you are prominent wizards, warlocks, or other magic users, such as a sorcerer. You're foolish enough. In any case, we're in pursuit of a particular person. Would anyone be okay with just reading the overall pitch of the story before I jump into it proper? I'll give you a point of inspirato.
Shall I reprieve my roll?
Sounds like it.
All right, sounds good. The Order of Elemental Chaos stands in defense against the known and unknown world. A new enemy has risen to threaten the fabric of reality itself. the witch, Elsbeth, has been draining energy from the Arcane Wheel, an ancient artifact that gave birth to magic. After the death or disappearance of several allied mages, the Order issued a summons to the Orbiter Dictum. Veteran spellcasters learned and tried against the secrets of our world and others. You are one such member. Return to Icarus and resolve the matter with the Council and the Hidden King. Do as you always have done, save the world and only be remembered in whispers.
Thank you. Now we're going to get into where all of you are prior to your arrival, but first, something else is happening. A wizard like yourselves walks through the woods. He's breathing heavy. The tree is almost growing in size. Surely his mind, no, powerful magic. They uproot themselves, tree ants, almost looking undead as the tree begins to rot and spill sap. Mouths begin to form. Clearly the wizard is out of resources, or perhaps he's done playing games. In any case, a lady submerges from deep within the dark woods. Y'all number 6. And there are only 20 of you left. Do your words, Elspeth. Mark my words. The Arbiter Dictum. The Arbiter Dictum will. His words, he chokes on blood, among other stuff and unnatural things, as a slug crawls up his throat before exploding his head. The Order will do nothing except die, as you have. The lady disappears into the shadows. The dawn of another beautiful, bright day quickly follows. Al-Shahar, what are you doing? Where are you? What are you up to? Would you like me to take you to the world map, or do you already know where you are and what you're doing?
I believe Al-Sahar knows where he is. Currently, he's at his house, or what he calls his house. A dormitory, new, the penthouse suite, built on top the ruins of one of the very old facilities which he fought in to earn his name as champion of the Blood Pits. He stands in this austere yet finely crafted penthouse filled with all manner of luxuries, but upon closer inspection, these fine velvets, these jewels, these masterfully decorated furnitures, they all sit there inert, unused, as if he doesn't know how to use them. The house itself is quite sterile as well. The only places seeing often use is bed, the kitchen, and the floor mat on the way out. Wherever Al-Sahar is, oftentimes likely it's not at home, but today he's waking up. He's lounging, facing the sun. Restful in his abode, he ponders what the day will bring him, and then quickly resolves to reject these plans and make his way wherever his whims take.
And eventually, wherever you may be a knock on the door or passing in the street, a letter is passed to you. It's a plain white envelope with a black dot that sears it closed.
Al-Sahar thanks the courier in the unspoken ways, as soon as he lays eyes upon this mark, he realizes it's not a missive of the import that's spoken aloud. He exchanges the customs and retreats quickly to a private place. Excusing himself from the companies and the clamor as soon as he walks into any of said locations, trying to remain incognito, he finds himself perched in a quiet corner of a somewhat lively bar, but he knows his place well enough to secure its privacy and its shielding from unbeknownst eyes, as open as it is. With one finger, he cracks the seal and begins reading it as if it's something not so much out of the ordinary, pretending it's just another fan mail to any curious onlookers.
The moment you open it, it's almost gibberish. How was your day today? Hope you're enjoying the sun. Is the desert treating you nice? How's the serpent's tail? But as you hold it and grip it, particularly with your hand that has a ring on it, the letters unravel and reform, dancing on the papers, spiraling. Some would be worried that others would see, though you know that this is for your eyes alone. And as the words do reform, it speaks to you. Remind me, which treasure did you decide to pick up?
Al-Sahar is 8th of the Chariot. The Armada's gauntlets rest firmly in his possession.
Excellent. To which each of you are one of the major arcanas, and they address you as such. Number 8. You have been summoned back to the high courts of Icarus, beneath the chapter where the library sleeps, where others gather for talk of doomsdays and deeps. You understand that even though, as secret as this may be, we must still speak in riddle with our eyes who still may see me. And to that effect, you must come as swift as the sands that may carry you, back to the home of the Abaddon, back to the library, for matters that will be disclosed.
Al-Sahar regards the cryptic message. All the time, with the hand holding the paper, his finger plays at the ring, signifying his membership of this place, up and down, as if tuning some sort of intricate arcane device as he ponders these words and missive contained within. He continues his implacable expression of seeming disinterest as he finishes the letter, and one of his favorite milkmaids comes up to ask how his day's been and exchange the normal banal banter. Al-Sahar stands up quickly, announcing that thinks it's time to stretch his legs a bit. Milkmaid becomes quite surprised, knowing that he does have a few telematches coming up, but knowing Al-Sahar and he will only go where his whims take him, rushes off to try to see if she can catch his manager before he slips away from Dundelia to who knows where.
Excellent. And as you slip away, another slips onto the scene. Boris, where are you? What are you doing?
Boris is seemingly at sea. This rather tall and broad dragonborn is sitting in a pretty ample, like decent space. A little small, a little cramped, but he just has like the bare essentials. As he drinks like what could be tea, just anything in essentially a cup. As he sits with like a book in his hand, with like what might be a boat that he's sitting in, like rocking side to side. As he's just traveling around the area, most likely in like an ocean area around like the misty waves.
Okay. While you are traveling, you can just see a seagull come flying by, pretty far off from land. It might even rest here, but it drops a letter through the window, sliding it through the slit, and doesn't even stop or anything like that. Continues onwards.
And he'll stand and walk over and reach down and get the letter and open it. Well, look at the seal first. What's the seal?
Same thing, just a plain white envelope with a black seared mark that closes it. Both not burning the material, yet still shutting it in the fashion that it appears burnt.
Gotcha. He'll like take one of like this his like finger ring or his not his ring finger, his fucking pointer his pointer finger, the claw on it, just kind of does like a little swipe to get it open and read it.
And as it opens, it says very similar things to Al-Shahar's letter, directing you back towards the mainland, calling you number 10, saying that much importance must be discussed, and that the witch that once was, a child born anew, and the world faces danger yet again. It's hard to discern these if you're not in the know, but it's merely a mention of a disciple of Palm on the loose.
He'll look at it for a moment, and then he'll ball up the paper, and he'll knock against the wall, and he'll just say, "Back," and everything just stops. The shifting from side to side just ceases, and everything kind of like some of the items in his room, like the books and like pans, kind of falls over like off tables for a moment. Then everything starts moving back and forth, and he'll walk out and open his door and step out onto like the along like the mast, as he's actually on top of a gigantic hermit crab that's actually walking across the water. And he'll walk over to like a resting stop in the front of the crab's like kind of like porch or like deck. And he'll just look back at the far away, like almost like vanishing point of like land. And he'll as he's doing that, he'll fish out what looks like to be like a pocket watch with like a speck of blood. And he'll just look at the time, close it, then pocket it again. He just stares forward, suddenly very intent on his destination.
As almost on cue to the pocket watch, a storm begins to brew, but you know the hermit could easily survive such a situation. But its timing is almost eerie, especially with the context of the letter. But onwards is all we can do now. And as the first lightning pounces and thunder claps, takes us somewhere else in the world. Mingo, where are you? What are you doing?
Ringo is in the Mermaid's Cove. Think of it as a beautiful, serene-like place full of mermaids, water runeborns, and Domingo sits on a little bank, cross-legged, as he is using pieces of his own bark to make beautiful and ornate but very useful fishing lures. He does this as a hobby, and he does this to let his friends sell them as they may. He's just enjoying the beautiful, wondrous day that surrounds him.
Excellent. And while you were sitting there preparing the things, leaping onto the side of the ledge or the cliff or the grass, wherever you may be, a fish flops onto the ground.
I will. I'll kind of look down at it, and I'll slowly kind of reach over and pick it up, and I'll speak to it because I'm a dryad and speak with beasts and plants. And I'll say, "It is not your time yet, friend. You should go. You should be in the water." And I'll slowly start to place him in the water.
And when you do, a shadow's cast over you. An individual stands behind you, bowing.
Oh. Hello there. I'll put my articles down and rise and give them a nod.
You see the individual shrouded in like almost thief-like clothing, but just people who know how to get around and understand the back roads. He pulls out a letter to you and he just goes, "The wheel. That is you, yes?"
Correct.
He drops the letter down next to you, looks around briefly, and retreats without saying a word to you.
I'll kind of start to move my hand down, and as I do, like my fingers start to extend a little bit and pick up the letter and bring it up to kind of play with it in my fingers for a second. Look out onto the cove and the serenity that it brings me, and slice the letter open so I can so I can read it, not eat it.
And just like the others, a very similar note calling you back to Icarus, though each of you have a different piece of the puzzle, I suppose, since there is a tiny bit difference. And for you, it merely says you must make haste. It is imperative that your portion of the wheel remains safe. To stop what you're doing and immediately embark for Icarus. And as you read those final words on this magical note, it catches on fire. This is not standard procedure. It is a green flame.
What would that tell me?
Arcana. You familiar with this before? You weren't certain immediately, but you're certain now. This is green fire is a calling card of Elsbeth. And if this note is on fire, then the letter has done its final purpose, warning you that she's nearby. As it erodes in your hand to nothingness.
Okay. I will, understanding the full seriousness of what's going on, Domingo will pack up his lures very quickly, and the ones that he has done, he'll kind of go over to this there's like a rock with like a little bowl in it, and he'll place them down there because he knows that his good friend Sophia, the water runeborn, very mystical yet alluring individual, will get these eventually. All packed up, ready to go, he goes down into the woods, and there's like this large boulder. He goes up to it and traces some sigils on the front face of it. It begins to slide open, and as he walks down inside the little cave, the boulder slides close again, and in the darkness, the whole room starts to ignite with these blue sigils that circle around. As he gets into a teleportation circle, and he's out of there.
And it's just like that. The moment you teleport, the opening to your cave that was sealed explodes, but you escape. And eventually, with the days to come, some of you far sooner than others, you all arrive in the beautiful city of Icarus, which on the world map means you are all right here. Purposes of the stream, I'll move you guys there for now. You can continue telling me your minds until we get to somewhere proper. Now, there's a few spots that you guys would meet up, but the most popular spot is the tailor shop. It is kind of like an entry to make sure everything's safe. It's in the public's eye. You don't need to worry about walking to these secret locations and getting jumped because maybe there's an ambush. This one's very public. And unless you have immediate plans, I could put us in the tailor now. But don't be afraid to have immediate plans if you want to do something prior to getting together.
Domingo doesn't have immediate plans. He just makes sure to bring out this like black silken kind of shawl that he wears around him too. It doesn't really cover him fully because he's a fucking dryad tree, but it covers him as best he can.
Excellent. When you walk into the shop, you can see a young lady there, but theater mind is awesome, but I do have a visual for you, so let's get to it. Boris isn't here yet, but we'd imagine he'll walk in soon. But Dominguez, you walk in first, and you see the tailor, or at least that's her disguise. She works the shops during the day and does what the rest of you do during the night. Ella looks at you and she smiles. Welcome to the shop. How may I help you? Are you looking for threads today?
It's quite a beautiful weather tonight. Yes, some new threads would be quite fitting for myself while I'm here in the city.
And she tells you, you can see yourself upstairs. I'll be there soon. I'm sure other customers will be equally interested.
Thank you, ma'am. And Domingo will start to walk.
And as you
Upstairs.
and as you do start to walk, Boris comes piling through. Boris arrives
Walks
next.
in.
Good.
Yeah, he'll come in straight from like the, if there even is a port for like Icarus, like whatever's nearest to Icarus as far as like the sea goes. He'll be just come from there and it'll gone up to the levels to get here. And he'll enter the establishment.
Ella sees you, and she's always been she's always wanted to take a ride on your hermit, I should say. And I do mean the crab or the crustacean. But as she looks at you as you come in, she tells you, "Have you had safe travels, friend?"
Yes, indeed.
You're just in time for our viewing. A special item is soon to be presented. You can make your way upstairs with your other interested customers.
He'll just nod and head in that direction.
And of course, Al-Shahar.
A nondescript yet finely crafted carriage pulls up with the driver, a dour, grim-looking man. Al-Zahar steps out of this carriage, nods toward the man, sends it off. It would do Al-Zahar no good to catch up with become stopped by any fans in the street, nor anyone that's seeking to hopefully not put in a business proposal or collect any sort of debt. Stepping out and looking around, squinting his eyes as if he was still in the deserts of Dune Delia rather than the balmy temperates of Icarus, not looking like a man who's had quite a long journey, he moves up and into the tailor shop as well.
And going through similar ropes that we need not repeat, she directs you upstairs with your allies, where you know that you can talk more comfortably.
Thank you, Ilya. As fun as always.
There's a long bow before walking to the front door and flipping the sign for closed. And eventually she takes you guys all upstairs as she drives you back this way. You can see her shop is quite beautiful indeed. Most notably, she's working on some type of full adventurous suit, hat included, that can accommodate horns. But it's just her day-to-day life, making stuff like that for random, unimportant individuals. She retreats upstairs.
As Al-Sahar enters this back waiting room and sees Domingo and Boris, are they down here at this point, or have they already headed upstairs?
They might be there. If you want them here, they're here. If not, it looks like Domingo's probably halfway up the stairs when you come in. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll be here, yeah.
Friends. The sands of the desert may shift, borders may be drawn and redrawn, but it's good to see you're all in good health. At least your good company is one reliable thing I can trust.
Number 8, number 9, and I'll kind of give a little salutation.
Boris will nod.
Doesn't appear that we're here by some coincidence. Anyone have a bit more information? I suppose the meeting will cover it off, but such a strange gathering they've elected to have us come to.
Well, I fear the inevitable has happened.
And what's that?
Power does what power does, old friend. And some people do not take power lightly or will adjust to it over time.
It's very astute, Boris. Yes, we wouldn't be here unless there was someone who had been abusing some power or someone was coming up for some great danger. So
Ah, yes. Power. Taken too lightly, yet wielded with such impunity. Either way, I suppose we'll learn more once the assembly's gone.
Yes.
Indeed.
I'll start making make way upstairs.
Boris. He's Boris.
Sorry.
Oh. As you come in, Ella looks at all of you and she tells you to have a seat anywhere you like. Yes, you know that you're free to roam around her terrain as well. She's got a nice rooftop garden over here. And in the top level, by the way, there is a zone of silence so that people cannot hear into it nor scry into it, which is why we are here. You can play that piano, for example, Ashahar, as loud as you like, and no one else would hear it except for the individuals present. You could be at the bottom of the stairs, and the same would be true.
Al-Sahar plays a key, and he looks over to Ella. I never knew you played.
He looks, I don't use half of this stuff, at least not as much as I should. Most of it's a front. I use my magical abilities to enchant things, and that's the limit to the presence of this shop. I do, however, enjoy being a tailor. Something to do on the side.
And you're very good at it. I wonder, is your piano playing as good? I'd love to hear it.
He walks over. He sits down to the piano. She closes her eyes and she begins playing. And when she does, it's an old tune, a coming of age story. Rather dramatic, I'd imagine, but exquisite. And you see that she's not just good, but excellent. She asks you mid-performance how she's doing.
He pauses for a bit in reverence. Beautiful. Based on a true story?
She stands up and the piano keeps playing, and she tells you, perhaps whoever gave me the piano installed these songs. And it keeps going as she walks away.
He looks over his shoulder and looks toward her with a smirk. Clearly he's been had a prank played on and just continues walking after. Appreciative.
He smiles. So the Abita Dictum has been summoned again. It's not unusual for us to do missions, but for the entire table to be summoned, certainly worrisome. As you may or may not know, Elsbeth is back, the disciple to Palm. And we all know how the Palm situation is going. Her threats against the world in just 6 months' time. The Arbiter Dictum is ready to defend against Palm, but first we need to eliminate some of the pieces on the board. Elsbeth is formidable. Shame to say more formidable than any of us individually. It will take all of us to stop her, or at least several of us. The 3 of you have been assigned the tailor shop because the 3 of you are going to be a party in this matter. But as all things, the Arbiter Dictum is up to you whether you accept the mission or not. So I ask each of you to weigh your options. Elsbeth is not someone you'll likely be walking away from alive. There are other members who are already willing. The more, the better. What say you? She looks to Domingo as the flowers begin to blossom.
You know that I never voted Elsbeth in to begin with. I never thought that she would really have made the cut. Happy to go and extinguish the flame that never should have been ignited to begin with.
Even now, I can feel her presence, haunting and looming. You know that you're a prize in her eyes, Domingo. Probably her main objective.
It may not be the wisest to send me along, but I know, especially teamed with Boris and Al Sahar, we're in capable hands.
Absolutely. Typically, the teams are only 2 people, but we're going to assign you a third because of how important you are. Not to say the rest of your lives aren't as important, but she holds a piece of the puzzle, a replica of the Arcane Wheel, the very thing Elsbeth seeks to complete her magical journey and descent into chaos. So with that said, Al-Shahar, you realize, and Boris, that traveling and agreeing to the terms with Domingo puts you at the forefront of danger.
I will do what needs to be done. We are the checks and balances of the arcane world. We ourselves cannot fall. And should we, it should be by our own blade.
Looks to Al-Shahar, see if he's in agreement.
He lets out a soft, low whisper. Wow, they really pulled out all the stops when summoning us. Elspeth. Duty and desire, always in a particular balance. Though I have no desire to lose my life. The duty of this matter, the impact, I suppose tips the scale. I'll journey with Domingo and Boris. 9 and 10. Let's see if we can all add up and see if this is something that will out in our favor.
She nods to you. Good. The meeting is tonight. The day is yours. You can spend it how you see fit in Icarus, but I suggest you all travel together. As you know, we're about as powerful as magic can get. Elsbeth could be in Dundelia right now, but it doesn't mean that within the hours she won't be here. So it's important that you stand together. She's made bold attacks before. And as you may or may not know, she's already managed to eliminate 6, perhaps more members. I suppose we'll get a proper head count at the meeting tonight.
Before I left the Mermaid Cove, she was attacking.
You almost take her breath away. So fast. I've already reached you and discovered where you were.
Yes. I just hope that the ones who live there right now haven't all lost their lives.
Still gathering herself, she looks to you and she just says, almost in disregard but not disrespectfully, you know that Ella's probably not among the strongest of the table, and this is probably very intimidating for her, but she tells you, if Elspeth gets that piece of the wheel, she'll be able to progress Palm's timeline by far too much. We could see an attack within weeks versus months.
Is there news on where the attack will be?
So far, they suspect that the Fairlands will be assaulted, but some other minds believe that it's a ploy to wash us out of Icarus. It is, after all, home to the Arcane Library, as well as the rest of the Arcanums. When a member of the Arcanum dies, well, you know, those fancy magic items of yours return to the vault for anyone to claim. If we were to be eliminated systematically, like they're doing now, anyone could walk in and get the host of many magical goods. And that's just the 22 major arcanas. There's far more valuable things in that vault, from books and scribes and even the ability to bring the dead back to life. So many people believe that we should stay here. But if we're wrong, and she does attack the Fairlands, without the protection of the Arbiter, they may fail. May be defeated still.
I know not a lot about this Elspeth, but she sure sounds as cunning as she is mighty. Definitely we should endeavor to travel with all three of us anywhere. Don't worry, I'm very, very accommodating. Don't mean to do anything that would take you out of your comfort zone. Just point to where and I'll gladly follow you in ends of the earth or into restricted zones that we have no right being in.
Boris raised an eyebrow.
Same with Domingo.
Oh, just putting it in there.
No,
We have an accord.
Good.
Oh, he just says it. Then we have an accord.
Ella sees some customers coming and she goes, "You should make haste. Be careful to share any information or interaction with anyone. Who knows who could be spies? Even I think these people are half decent." As a tiefling, an elf, and a shaman girl walk up the building, he quickly retreats down the stairs and tells you the day is yours, but the night is ours.
I'll just say a quick goodbye to the plants and start getting the fuck out of there too, I guess. There's only one way out, right? It's just that the way that we came in.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably like other dramatic ways like climbing out a window, but yeah, you can get out fairly easy enough.
Well, not 1 hour in Icarus, and now we have a missive, but that has to wait until the evening. Now, what will we make of the day? It's been a long time since I've been here. Do either of you have any plans or obligations? I'm loath to them myself.
I've never really been a big fan of this city, so Boris?
Food.
Food. Sounds great.
Food it is.
One of the best places in here is the Highland Harpy, typically reserved for any time you visit here, but some students are occupying it right now, some type of work study. So you'll have to look other places, though Icarus is large and there's plenty of places to eat. One of your favorites, perhaps, Domingo, if you care for fish and like, is one of the same name, the Fish's Barrow.
Well, there's a good fish place called the Fish's Barrel, just down here on the left. If that'll suffice.
Fanciful name. I find places with fanciful names serve up fanciful dishes. Sometimes for the better, sometimes, well, everything life's a journey, right?
Very well. The Fish's Barrel it is.
Oh.
Wait, where is it? Lead the way.
Oh, yes, it's just down here.
Despite of his having enormous stature, Al-Sahar has no trouble keeping up with your gait. Mostly because you're moving less than 30 feet around.
Oh.
So when you guys get to the Fish's Barrow, it's pretty crowded. You can see Aquarium, and he looks and he sees Domingo, and he's a heavy set of Runeborn water nature, but kind of reminding you of Merit if you're familiar with that type of genie. But he walks over to you. Domingo, you're back.
In Aquan, he'll just say, hello, salutations, and then go back to common. Aquarium, these are my friends. We've come to taste the finest fish in the land.
We've got all of it here. Big bass, little bass, yellow stripe, double fin, tail twins, all of it.
That sounds right up our alley. Well, a table for 3, please.
Right, table for 3, he shouts, and you see some people run out from behind. Youths that are just getting paid minimum here. Aquarium likes his coin. Some people call him the wishing well because people throw so much money at him. But as you guys do get your table set and standard, the Aquarium pulls up a fourth chair. So, I haven't seen the three of you together before. He's probably seen each of you individually, but it's odd for members like yourselves to be huddled in groups throughout the city. He sits down and goes, "Who's your friends, Domingo?"
Would he, like, how much would he know of like the organization? Is like a safe house kind of thing? Or?
He knows what a lot of people are familiar with. He thinks that you are a contractor for a higher name in the city, but like most private contractors, it's one of those kiss and don't tell things. So he doesn't ask you much questions, but now he's wondering if these are your buddies in the order. But you don't think that he's a conflict of interest with him. He's just a chatty man.
Oh yes, this is my great friend Boris and Al Sahar. We're just in town doing some work for our clients.
Oh, good. Well, I won't pry. Eat whatever you want today. It's on the house.
Oh, why is that? That's usually we're the ones throwing money your way.
Don't worry about it. I haven't seen you in so long, I figured I'd get you this one. You still gotta pay for the drinks, of course.
Of course. Of course.
He's a sluggish dude. He kind of gets up and walks away. He kind of reminds you of, not Jar Jar Binks, but the leader of Jar Jar Binks City. I don't remember what he's called, but he's like that green toad looking guy. What's he, brown? I don't know. But in any case, he walks away and, eventually some drinks are brought out to the table, starting you off with water, but they do recommend either witch wine or donkey's ass if you want something strong.
Alzhar?
Oh, sorry,
Go ahead, sorry.
No, go for it.
Go for it.
I'll go with the lighter option.
That brings you something called Sky. It's just named after the fact that Icarus is a large city that pierces the clouds. It's really light. It's cheap beer. Or mead, I suppose.
I shall just take water.
As you all do eventually get your drinks, an assortment of food is brought to you since it was on the house. Some of the fish as long as the table you're sitting at and as round. And on top of it is all kinds of seafood, crabs and lobsters, even clams and oysters and other stuff like that. Plenty of stuff. Maybe a bit too generous today, you think?
Be careful. If you eat too much, will be compromised.
Alzahar, looking at the spread that's been ordered before him, looks at the menu with a bemused grin at the most colorful names, and you think he's just ordering whatever has the funniest name on the menu, to be honest. He gets up a cup of the donkey's ass and begins swallowing, and somehow, while he is drinking, you hear him a message that only you can hear. Normally, this confuses you, as message typically requires a person to be able to speak. But for whatever reason, he is drinking at the same time, and somehow also relaying some sort of message. Good choice, Domingo. I would recommend that we should probably work out an alibi for our continued presence together. Although, we are three very handsome. He kind of looks a bit more toward Domingo. Humanoids. We might want to secure something that would evade some suspicion. Or fence. And then he finishes his drink. Delicious.
What do you suggest?
The bill? Yeah, we could work that out later. Maybe the tailor shop second floor was quite a nice place to lounge around. Ella's so nice letting us in up there. And the view is great.
Boris, are you a fan of the seafood? I hope it doesn't offend your friend.
What he sees is none of his business. But I do eat fish when I'm out on sea. You know, like he'll take like the entire that big fish across the table, like pull it like towards himself. Let's dig in.
Yes, let's. It's been very long since I've had fare of this sort. Quite interesting. Or maybe it's because I ordered everything that had alliteration in it.
Bingo will smirk and start digging in as well.
The food's pretty good, as you'd expect from this establishment, the Fish's Barrel. It serves fish, right? And time passes and you all can enjoy each other's company for whatever it's worth. But unless there's something in particular you really want to do, I'd imagine the sun will eventually set. It usually does that.
I'm good.
All right. As night does fall, you find yourself going to some type of college, the Arcane College. Not really discreet from the fact that the Arcane Wheel is, but hey, there's a lot of colleges here. In any case, I'll move you there now. You do know that the secret entrance to the Arbiter's Domain is within the Arcane College. A public space, oddly enough, but it's been cleared out for supposed studies.
We've all been here before, right?
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah.
What do you guys know?
Ah, bright young minds, filled with potential, thirst for knowledge, and a penchant for getting into trouble. What a wonderful place. I should really stop by more often.
That thirst for knowledge is one of the reasons why we're here.
True.
Sky Knights walk up to you. And they look. And they say to you, "You shouldn't be here. You're not on the list." But before you can even respond, a marshal comes down the stairs. "It's all right. I'm expecting them." And you know that the marshals, particularly Mal and the High Marshal or the General Zebulon, the only people who are fully understand your position in there. Which could be an issue, but in order to make you discreet, we can't have all the city guard knowing who you are, or word would surely spread. Marshal Mal kind of nods to you. You never had a deep relationship with her. She's kind of a action person, not very conversationalist. Come with me.
Asahar gives a small smile over to the Sky Knight, nods, and follows Marshal Mel.
Or it's also like shoulder bumps him as he walks past.
And Anthony just kind of huffs. Marshal Mal does not engage you in conversation. She would respond if you talked to her, but she doesn't start like a, "How are you?" or "Was your travels good?" Something like that. She's not a small talker. In any case, she does bring you upstairs. I'll move you guys there now. She points to Pharrellin across the way. "If you want to speak with the council, they're upstairs. Other than that, Pharrellin here is ready to take you to where you must go. But truly, it's up to you if you wish to speak to the Zeros, which is a title afforded to the people who are your underlings. Each of you are seated numbers 1 through 21 of the major arcana. But Zero is the only seat that is seated by multiple people instead of one person. And those are referred to as the Zeros, the Jesters. And they are ultimately your subordinates."
And if I remember from the session 1, we have to vote one of them in. Is that right?
Yes, it's possible from session 0. Yes, you'll probably be voting one of them into a position of power today.
Do we mind to go say hello to the Zeros?
I'm okay with it. It seems like the council hasn't quite gathered Ephrailians down here, so I suppose we can chat with the Zeros as good of time as any. Oh, Mal, is this place warded?
Of course, the moment you've stepped into the first level to now, you'll notice that you can't even use your spells here unless the active combat suit is initiated.
Ah, perfect.
We walk past. I'll give Ferillian a little nod.
He sees you, and he does a nice gesture with his hand, spinning it for a really regal and fancy bow back. And as you all do go upstairs, you see that the council, who's the face of all of Icarus, the Icarus people believe them to be the leaders, undisputed, and final say of all the affairs of Icarus, but that is not true. They're puppets, servants to the three of you. But for one of them, that will change soon. When you come into the room, the council is talking to each other. They're talking about a few students that they viewed, whether they liked them or not, etc. None of the names are familiar to you. General Zebulon looks at you and bows. Ah, the arbiter dictum has arrived. And then you see the councilmen, who usually hold a really pristine presence in the room, immediately fold in your presence. Not out of fear, but out of respect. They all, not only do they acknowledge your presence, but they fully stand up and take a knee, bowing to you until you say otherwise.
Al-Sahar kind of makes a placating gestures. Oh, at ease, at ease.
And Quinris looks at you and says, "The table is set whenever you're ready," referring to the meeting being ready when you are there at least. Do you have any need of the council this day?
How are things going in Icarus?
Icarus crime is at an all-time low, about 15% versus last year's 27%. The uppers are doing as good as ever, but the slums are still getting worse. You see, we've eliminated all the crime nearly up top, but there's still been incursions and stuff alike. Recently, there was an attack on a student, resulting in a death, but it was remedied.
An attack on a student, you say?
Yes, Night Chapter. As you know, another formidable and underground society, much like ours, but their purpose is to spread strife and destruction. And this is all Quimris. The rest of them are mostly quiet when he's talking. You know that Quimris and Bankar hold the most weight in regards to the Zeros and are most likely to be voted into a seat, though not guaranteed.
Or it's just kind of like it's just like eyeing Snarble as everyone else is speaking. It was like an intense stare.
All right, Snarble looks with her one eye and she just says, "Can I help you, my liege?"
No. Although it is good to see your face again, old friend. An eye for an eye.
And the whole world is blind. And she smiles at you, displaying her sharp teeth, and she tells you, "Is every much true? Seats are opening. That the council may yet have a presence, even a significant number above 0. Lost Snarble talking.
Rumors are always untrue until they're not. But I've heard great things from your reputation, Snarbell.
The Fauna people deserve a seat at the table, if I may speak freely, my liege.
Yes, I am familiar.
And she bows, and Illidan goes, "The sheet does not lack any promising warriors. So I understand if I'm not given my position on that merit alone. Though I should notion that I'm the only one who's gone into the mouth that feed and came out alive. Save for Mother Nature herself, of course." And you see he's trying to shooting a shot because he knows that he doesn't have much pull on the table, so maybe he can sway the mind of one or all three of you. But he doesn't press the matter, it's very brief. But the director doesn't seem to care for a seat at the table, which almost makes him the most desirable to have a chair. Not to say that he'll get even a single vote, but it's the people who aren't hungry for power that are ideal to share the table. In any case, Benkar speaks up and just goes, "All the other affairs are settled. Of course, you know that we held the annual meeting with the students here in order to get the presence of the seats current." And as it may sound like another language, but what he's referencing the fact that there are lots of students coming here under the guise of getting access to the most secret library in all the world. Really foolish if you think about it, that anyone, especially random students, would get given access to that. But in truth, it's so that you guys can come in and know him with bat an eye. They do it once or twice a year, though this year they had to do it a little bit out of the norm. But he does tell you that some of them have been really promising. But to be careful, because there is one of them is a reporter. And if she gets wind of your presence, it could ruin our secret operative.
The media, ever a thorn in my side, and a fly in my ointment. Even out of Dundalia, I can't escape them here. Should we pass an edict? No reporters? No, I guess I won't fly.
Yes, I've never quite enjoyed their flimsy articles, always half-truths or not enough detail.
The people need information. And it's best we know who to control that information, to protect the people at large.
The director agrees with you. He says, "The students that have came under the guise were certainly exceptional, capable of destroying artifacts of metal rain, expensive material put together with the intent that they would just merely defeat the students, to which all the students that came to the college were defeated save for 2 classes, both hailing from the pristine academy in the Fairlands. These students should not be underestimated. While they not be given access to the library for obvious reasons, they have a bright future ahead of them and will likely be formidable opponents when Palm returns. I suggest we consider a work study under the eyes of the council. Of course, with the dictum truly behind the nature of it all. Perhaps if we were to study with the students directly, we could further their capabilities and make them primed and ready for such an invasion. Of course, that is just my words, and I'm just a zero, so I will withdraw on that."
Interesting
Yes,
proposal.
Yes, as you know, Director, the council must vote on, or we must vote on these matters. But that is a good idea.
And the general goes, "And I'm sorry, my councilman." And you know that she's not a zero. She's just the head of the military, the elemental armies. And she tells you, "Are you done with the council? It seems that you are being summoned." And you can see her brooch is like lighting up, which they're calling you. And at which point you would notice your rings are kind of illuminating as well.
Oh yeah, we're late.
Thank you for the briefing, council members. Hopefully we'll be speaking with you quite soon.
They bow again. Snarbill snarls at Boris.
He kind of snarls back and turns.
And as you all descend towards the meeting beneath the library, you see that, moving there real quick, Pharrellin opens a door here. Oh, shoot. Oh, did I already pre-open it? No, I didn't. Okay. And he takes you inside to where the supposed secret library is behind this door. And he invites you in.
I'm stuck in a bookshelf.
Oh, God. You're stuck in a bookshop. When you get back here, there is, in fact, a really important bookshop because it has to lead up to a burglar's inspection. But in truth, it's crucial information in one respect that it has a lot of private information in the city, but it's just enough to make someone believe they found the library. But as he walks to the ladder and gets on it, the ladder slides all the way to the left, where he then speaks an arcane tongue, which all of you know the true words into the library is, without knowledge, we have nothing. Which alone may be simple enough for someone to accidentally say when in pursuit of knowledge, but you also need to have a ring for the words to ring. Once he steps inside this secret room, in the middle of the seal, a fire blazes him away, and he teleports to the sanctum beneath Icarus.
And do we need to speak the words before we walk through as well?
No. Just the one who opens gates. Your ring is formidable enough.
Gotcha.
Interesting proposal by counselor there. Take your kids to work day. Think it will fly?
Unfortunately, I think probably so.
As all of you teleport, you find yourself in a massive, dark place with stairs leading up an ominous flight towards a towering building that is no way this could be in the heart of the Icarus Mountain itself. Such a large exploit would surely cause landslides, but magic is a hell of a drug. As you begin your ascent up towards these heights, the table in the distance will take a 5-minute break.
Intrigue. I gotta pee. Bye.
Talk to you in
Bye-bye.
5.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I have returned.
Welcome back.
Ever, did you see that message that I sent in the group chat there?
But no, let's see.
Oh, is that a little Boris and Snarbell a little flirt in some aggressive-y kind of way?
It is now.
Oh, I thought they were rivals.
Yeah. They both like had a. I just noticed they both had scars. I'm like, yeah, they fucked each other up. Sure. A long ways to go.
All right. Sounds like everyone's back for the most part, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet, sweet, sweet. I hope you guys have been enjoying this session. I know it's been a lot. Nice little intro.
Having tons of fun. Having
Lore.
tons of fun.
More. Yeah. All right, sweet. You guys have just entered the most sacred domain for your order, that is. The Forbidden Library, Secret Sanctum, the Orbitum's domain. Many names, no one even knows the true one, though we do know it is the library proper that everyone wants to go and explore, but none ever do. Leading you is Pharrellin, though I suppose he's really just with you, he's not leading anything. Let's get you there. Pharrellin walks you through the security, these bulbs that provide light, but also double as a defense mechanism should a hostility arrive. He doesn't say anything to you, he just walks quietly along the path. You've been here plenty of times, and each time it's just as mysterious or alluring. Maybe you hate the place, maybe you love the place, but it's certainly special. Roland stops and tells you, remember, at the table you are your number. I am 17 and you are who you are. Show each other respect. And if you have a suggestion or something to propose, you can flag the head of the table, number 1. Are we ready to go inside?
After you leave, 17.
Onward.
And the doors open as you say onward. And inside are several other individuals. Having been told you're the last to arrive, unfortunately every single empty seat is likely a victim of Elsbeth. The whole reason you're being summoned today.
How many are gone since the last time we've been here?
Probably about 4 or 5. Because seat number 2 belonged to Palm, so she had long gone before then. Some people have died in the line of work once in a while, but it's never been this empty. It's almost always been a full house, with only Palm's seat typically being the one that wasn't here.
And we'll have like, oh sorry.
Go ahead.
No, just I'll have like a kind of grave look on his face and nod to everyone as he walks in.
Al-Sahar will walk in with a coy little smile and sit down, seat 8, and when he sits down and gets himself settled, he gives a quick side glance to Ella, gives her a quick wink before sternly returning his attention to the center of the table.
Poetic, since she is number 6, the lovers. Don't forget, you can hold Alt if you want to get yourself in a proper seat. I know you're probably struggling to be there.
I was trying to figure out how to do it again.
Yeah, you're
Unless
good.
you livers.
It defies you.
You don't need to know what they represent, but if you have a question about a creature's personality, they're either going to be the upright meaning or the reverse, to which I can clarify if you're concerned about an individual interaction. For example, Yashiro, number 4, is the Empress, stability, power, protection, authority. You know that he is extremely loyal to the table and is a legacy pick, which, what does that mean in the context of the council? It means that he's only here because his family has a lot of money or was previously someone like his father or mother had a seat at the table and it was passed down to him. However, among the legacy picks, which is Yashiro, Exodus, Morgan being some of them, Yashiro's proven himself the most. He's earned his seat the heaviest. As for Ella the lover, she is, everyone calls her the tailor, even though, so she's got like 3 code names. Number 6, the lovers, the tailor. She is the community rep. She knows what's going on in the city almost as well as the council. And it's impressive because it's merely word of mouth and her own job and day-to-day life. Then we brought us down to Exodus, number 16. He is the tower, fear of change and avoiding disaster. He's a bit of both. Arrogance, destruction, sudden imbalance, and confinement. He knows the least magic at the table. He is what someone would call a barbarian. But his suit comes from the fact that he can fly and teleport, so he can get in there and deliver the damage. But as far as the arcane is considered, he's not someone you're going to go to learn anything. Next, we have number 18, the moon. Visions, the unknown, superficial illusions. Morgana. One of the people voted on the table by Palm long ago and still has much suspicion shrouding her. And there's 20. Judgment, culmination test, moral awakening, and consequence. Finger is the consequence of Palm's action. And just like Morgana, a lot of people at the tables are hesitant to trust her because these 2 individuals, Morgana and Finger, were closest to Elspeth, since those were the 3 disciples of Palm originally. Then we go to Pharrellin, the star, hope, good omens, motivation, and grace. Everyone loves Pharrellin. He's well-spoken, kind-hearted, extremely intelligent individual. Then 15, the devil, Ixal. Passion, questionable, turmoil. She is a burning furnace, hotter than any dwarven forge. She gets things done. And then there's Morgan, justice. But of course, he is actually the inverse. And unfairness, dishonesty, and corruption. A legacy given the table only because of his family, and some people feel like he should lose his seat, but with so many empty seats, Morgan remains to his happiness. And now it brings me in this long-winded conversation of the remaining members, the top of the table. We have Finric, the magician, the brilliant ideas, initiative, and resourcefulness. The leader of the table, even though all of you hold the same level as a seat, number 1 and number 21 are clearly the leaders of the table, followed by Mother Nature, the Empress, abundance, parenthood, and nourishment. Sakura oversees all of the wilderness, the dryads, animals, and faunas and beasts alike. And those 2 hold the greatest power in this room whenever 21 is not here. Which then brings me to the rest of you. I know it's a lot to take in, but at the end of the day, all you need to remember is their number. Finric sees you all sit down, file in, and he looks and he asks you, without looking at any of you, I hope your travels were well enough.
It was
Absolutely.
fine.
Without further ado, you all know why we're here. Unless there's some type of sideband to a conversation or you want to say your hellos and goodbyes, we can begin the meeting. He nods and sees that there's silence in the room. And the meeting begins, and you know that the room is shrouded in magical darkness the moment the meeting starts, with only the middle of the room being lit, and those of you deprived of everything else. As the room is dark, you guys, night vision disappeared. Unless, of course, you have Devil Sight. Boris, you're a warlock. Did you actually pick up that invocation or no?
I don't think I did, no.
Excellent. And you'll see as the others have seen. Little.
I'm gonna regret that.
It's okay. It's only a meeting. The light in the center of the room beams to the north, highlighting Fimric, the house speaker. And as he addresses the table, he tells you all why you've been summoned. Surely all of you know, but in greater detail. Hello, everyone. I, Fimric. Number 1, as you may know me by. We've assembled today in the matter of Elsbeth, the witch. She has undergone the process of becoming a lich, and she is but a token away from achieving her goal. There are 3 locations in the world that we suspect she is. The wall that guards the mouth that feeds. Somewhere in the misty seas. In the outskirts of Fairlands. Those are the 3 places she's suspected to be. As you know, Elsbeth was trained by Palm herself, and used to occupy a seat at this table, but no longer does. And he references out to seat number 19. There was a cluster Morgana finger in her. As he looks onto the table, he tells you all, you'll all be broken up into groups in order to deal with Elsbeth. She is quite formidable. Individually, you are not to engage her. All the others who have tried, 5, 7, 12, and 14, have perished. It cannot be the same for the rest of you. Unfortunately, Elsbeth's goal is to complete the Arcane Wheel. The wheel, as you know, is said to be the origin of magic in this world, just as the rune stones are the origin of the runes. If she makes the Arcane Wheel, she will have a semblance of eternal life. But more importantly, she'll be able to free Palm and all of her plans vastly sooner. So I ask the table if they have any suggestions. They may flag the table now. He's quiet for a moment to see if there's anyone who has a suggestion on the matter or a concern. And Yashido speaks up. If we are to challenge Elsbeth, these 3 locations are far apart. Are we certain she lies in one of these places? Morgan flags the table. Of course she's in one of these places. It'd be preposterous to question Finric. I think that I should be the one to take down Elsbeth. I alone. To prove my seat here is mine. There's been whispers as of late that I don't deserve to be here. Disrespect at its finest.
You think you can merely earn your place with one threat?
Morgan looks at you. He doesn't say anything, as you know that outright arguments are forbidden. But you can see that he's angered. The light focuses onto you. Fimric wonders if you have any proposals on the matter, knowing that you're best to handle the misty waves, but instead of assigning you, wants to see if you'll take the initiative.
I will go. I can traverse the seas. And I believe we should fight fire with fire, as we have similar arcane abilities.
Flagging next is Exodus. I should challenge her. The rest of you lie heavily on your magic, which Elsbeth is a professional of countermeasures. Not to mention her ability to conjure enemies far greater than that to the likes of any of us have ever seen. But me, I've got my axe, If I close in on her, her shield will not protect her from my blows. I am best suited to her destruction. Are there arguments? She is most likely next to the wall if her aim is to free Palm. I shall go there.
You should be careful. Number 16. Same with number 11. It's that type of hubris that will tear us all down. We must stay vigilant and fight together. No matter who is the one to strike her down, it is the job of our group here.
Domingo is correct. Others have underestimated her before, and those seats are empty. If you wish to return to your seat, in one piece at least, you should take heed. But in any case, Morgan, Exodus, and Yashiro, as members of the Legacy pick, the three of you could venture to the wall, and if you do happen upon her, perhaps together, one cohesive mind will be strong enough to defeat her. My suggestion of the three that factioned in late, Boris, Domingo, and Char, take to the seas. As we know, the Master of the Hermit is the strongest suited to that environment. I myself do not intend to go into the field, and you know that Pharrell shies away from combat, which is okay. We don't need everyone in the field. There's enough for us to split 3 ways to the 3 locations. But Sakura then taps her staff on the table, and the table grows quiet. Can't speak for you, but for the rest. Even Finrick leans in, knowing that she holds the most power second to him, and that there's a constant struggle between the two, though it is a friendly contest. As the light illuminates upon Mother Nature in all her glory, she says to you all, I've failed to defeat Palm once before, and now we must contend with her greatest disciple. It is no, how should I say, lie that there is mistrust even at this table with Morgana and Finger. So I shall travel with them. If you are afraid for your own health, then fear not. And she gestures to them to see what they say. Perhaps, knowing Palm the best other than myself, maybe Finger and Morgana can give us more insight to Elsbeth's activities. Morgana speaks. Elsbeth's goal is Domingo, clearly. I don't understand why we don't just lock him in here and guard this place. If she can never reach Domingo, she cannot complete her goal. She looks at Domingo, and the light almost instinctually goes to you to see if there's a rebuttal. It's not a bad argument to just keep you locked up here. She'll never achieve her goal.
That is true. There is a good chance that without the arcanum that I carry, not me, she can never complete her goal. She found me in the Mermaid Cove, so there is a good chance that no matter where we go, she will find. But the longer she stays out there, the more innocents will be dying. The more the world will go into chaos, and the more that will inspire others to gain more power to fight her. We must quell her as quickly as possible.
Ixel falls to light. I agree with Domingo. Keeping him in here may stop the progression of the formation of the Arcane Wheels, of the Arcane Wheel, but she'll still wreak havoc in other ways, destroying and dismantling governments, growing in power in her armies, and eventually when Palm does strike, she may just simply fulfill her goal then. We need to take the initiative on this. The light.
Alzahar
But
speaks in agreement. To be honest, I'd much rather be preferred toward the wall. with my gauntlets, if any lesser mouthers do escape, I believe that would be the best situation. And Elspeth does know quite a bit about each of us as well. Some wise one once said that if you know yourself and you know your enemy, you'll not fear the outcome of 100 battles. Though she knows much about us. Number 10 knows most about the wheel, and number 9 knows most about the sea. Even if she has the information edge over us on our individual capabilities, I think having an advantage over her on the battlefield and in the object she seeks is enough to tip the scales in our favor.
There is a soft clap at the table by Finric, and even Sakura joins in. Well spoken, Al-Shahar. And of course, a mind as wise as yours and as sharp as Boris's tongue and as strong as Domingo's will be a perfect party should you do come into conflict with her. It seems the matter is settled as to where we'll all go. Boris will lead the sea operations alongside Domingo and Ashahar. Exodus and Morgan and Yashiro will go to the others. You know, Finric says your guys' names, but since he's the head of the table, he uses the numbers the least. It's mostly a formality, and he's the boss. But there's agreement all around. And as for the third party, Sakura, Morgana, and Finger, numbers 3, 18, and 20, would probably be the most concerning if not for the fact that Sakura is so overpowered that if Morgana and Finger do betray her, she could probably take the both of them and hold off Elspeth. But there still may be some concern because, well, for obvious reasons, they were also Palm's disciples.
And what of after?
They raise a brow, and several whispers in the room as to addressing to what do you mean?
We treat symptoms, but we don't cure the disease.
Number 9. Do you suggest destroying Palm or the mouth that feeds?
Neither of which I am against. What I'm saying is that this is a second member of our court. He looks around at everyone. That has not only betrayed us, but betrayed the world.
Evil has always come into conflict, even here. We hold some of the most power this world has ever seen. Of course, eventually some of us may fall off the beaten path, and it is up to the rest of us to get them in line. We will do as we have always done. Control and destroy that which uses the arcane art's devastating effect. We must remind ourselves not to go too far, and at the end of the day, love will prevail.
You speak of this, and yet in a way this all begins with the two of you.
And Sakura takes the light. We could go on and on about what's best for the world, but all we need to do now is stop Elspeth, and the sooner we're out in the field, the better. I suggest we move on to other matters since the parties have been determined. They may be minor, but still need to be addressed. We could talk in circles for Elspeth for hours, but nothing will come to pass of it. Bimric, the first to vote. It's a matter of Elspeth for now put to rest and our task immediate apparent, he says. He lifts his hands up to be the first to vote, followed by Sakura and Yashiro. If there's anything else you'd like to add to this meeting, then you can decline. Otherwise, a simple raise of the hand opts that the matter is settled for now.
Al-Sahar raises his hand.
Most of the table does, except for Morgan for whatever reason. But you know he likes to talk. For a less serious matter, more open speaking can happen without the need of light. You're assured by that as the room is illuminated yet again. Now it's just a mere casual conversation. Fimric goes, so, a new person joining the table, into which number or seat they should fill, entirely up to us. Does anyone here favor any candidate of the Zeros, the Council of Icarus, to take a seat? Speak now. None of the NPCs seem to have an opinion just yet. But you know, Sakura is probably waiting until everyone speaks to suggest her pick. I will grab them and drop them on a map just for visual reference. Just in case.
We said that the previous matter is settled. As a psychological edge, though, I don't have a particular candidate in mind, but would feeling 19 give us a bit of an edge emotionally, if nowhere else?
With what? Sorry?
Would filling seat 19 give us an emotional edge, should she learn, if nothing else?
The sun, pride, satisfaction, clarity, and happiness, or the inverse, depression, the temporal setbacks, etc. It is important, Fimric says, that the seat is filled by someone who represents the attributes applied to the major arcana, so that all of the emotional spectrums, opinions, and thoughts are fulfilled. There's not a perfect solution, but it guarantees a diverse cast leads the worlds from the shadows, which is why our personalities is just as important as our values.
Of course, one. Sorry, my misspoke out of line there.
No, not at all. I'm in agreement with you that it could bring balance to the table. But more importantly, which of these individuals deserve a seat? Some people may think that we're on a high horse speaking in such a matter. These people immediately come into a level of power that can devastate entire communities. Their voice rings in all societies. As councilmen and Zeros, they appear to lead Icarus, but as members of the dictum, they will truly lead Icarus. So, I propose Quinris. He's always been a solid young man and an aged elf. I think he can bring much to the table. There are other recommendations. Please put them forward and then we will take a proper vote. You guys know you can only recommend one individual. You can't be like, I like these two. It's only one. You don't have to represent or recommend any if you don't want to.
Is it possible to do like a quick rundown of their personalities, like
Sure.
in general? Is that...
Let's split them up. Okay. So the director is a very neutral individual. He is probably the smartest of them, but that doesn't make him the best caster among them. But he can always see the bigger picture. And he's very intuitive in regards to even his suggestion to train the Fairland troops. So maybe they'll fill seats one day, or maybe they'll become Zeros, or maybe they'll be good soldiers. So he is, I would say, very progressive in regards to the future of the particularly Icarus right now, less the table's desires. But that's still important. Icarus is an entire city with a lot of people that need to live good lives. So the director is also a product of the invasion of Metal Rain. Being an automaton means that he hails from the Mind Flayer colonies from space, which is probably the only reason he will not be given a seat here, because while he's been trusted as a Zero, there are still a lot of doubts similar to Morgana and Finger, but for a different enemy. That was heavy. I'll try to be quicker with the rest. Benker and Quimris are the leading tablemen. They've done the most for the city. If you could think of how our government system worked, they were chosen by the people, some would say, even though they were pre-selected in secret. They have the strongest community relationship, and both of them are both the sharpest minds here in regards to the arcane. So I'll go ahead and skip over Quimmer since they're almost the same thing. Snarbell represents the fauna people and the beasts of the world, which is underwhelmingly represented at the table. But that alone does not warrant their seat. She's also a prized warrior, having had many notable bouts in the past, such as losing her eye to Boris, but also scarring Boris's eye. And Illidan always loves to mention and constantly brings up the fact that he's gone into the mouth that feeds. I will say it is truly an impressive feat because some of you would probably not ever return from that place.
At the risk of having two undesirable people on each side of me, I vote Snarbell for Chair 7.
Snarbell has been suggested to the seat of the chariot, victory, acknowledgement, and radical behavior. Or perhaps the opposite, who's to say? Snarbell has been proposed, as well as Quinris. Is there a third candidate the table would like to suggest?
I'd like to suggest Benkar.
And you see there's some whispers on the table that Benkar is extremely suitable, particularly Ella and Yashiro in agreement. Some time would pass and no other suggestions would be had, so the voting now applies to Quimris, Benkar, and Snarbell. Starting with Benkar, as we go from the lowest ranked person who invites someone to the table up to the higher ranked. We begin with the Benkar vote. And just because you vote for Benkar does not mean you cannot vote for the others. So as the table is in session for the votes, you see that Benkar manages to get, from the NPCs at least, 4 votes. Whether you guys strong arm an additional 3 is up to you.
Just give him mine.
We have 5 votes for Benkar. Next up is Snarbell's suggestion, to which Sakura immediately gets in there and promotes the idea that having a fauna at the table is important because that side of the world is only under her control at the moment, with Domingo being a good representative at times. But she's the only one who oversees dryads and faunas and the beast and everything. So the moment she speaks up, you could see about half the table agrees with her. There are 6 votes immediately provided. Should any PCs want to up that number, they can.
Al-Sahar will also vote for Snarbell.
Boris will not.
Lol. All right, so there's 7 votes for Snarbell. Finally, there's Quinris, who Fenric favors heavily. And there is only 5 votes. Well, the PCs can easily strong arm this into an 8 for victory onto Quinris if they choose. There's 5 from the NPCs. Do any players add to this tally? Excellent. After a few disputes and minor considerations, eventually Snarbell, who won't arrive here today, is selected and raised to the table. Despite Quimris and Benkar believing themselves to be the greatest runner-ups, they tied with 5, Snarbell taking a sneaky victory under the support of Mother Nature and her ever-reaching voice. With that decided, the table says to each of you, that does handle the matters today. Hopefully we can meet up here when Elsbeth is dealt with. But I suggest each of you take to the sea immediately, looking toward Boris, to the wall to Exodus, Sakura to venture near the Fairlands. Any last merits that need to be addressed? Says Fenric. Excellent. Each of you, please do mind yourselves to grab your goodie bag on the way out. I'm sure it will be the difference between survival and death. There's also treats in there. Cookies, by the way, baked by Ella. She looks really shy. She's like, supposed to be anonymous, number one. Ooh, apologies. And if the table is done, you guys would eventually get your goodies, which, by the way, has...
As everyone's kind of meandering about and kind of getting the goodies, could I, like, kind of take Sakura to the side a little bit, like have a little conversation?
Absolutely.
Let's say, or kind of like not like super in earshot. I'm sure everyone can hear a lot of things, but I'll say, Lady Sakura, can I speak with you for a moment?
She gracefully moves across the room, as though she floats, but her long hair covering her feet.
I believe Starbell will be a worthy pick, but I hope you understand I went the other direction.
It is your choice, and anything you choose. Unlike Finric, whose voice almost is affirmative and assertive, I believe everyone's free will comes first. I think Snarbell will be great to represent the Beast people, just as you and I represent our people. But I take no issue with your decision.
I know that you are very capable, but who knows what kind of tricks Palm might throw your way if she sees that you're traveling with her two other minions over there. Not minions, whatever the nice way of saying it. Disciples. There it is.
Yeah.
Disciples.
Your cronies.
Your Palm's cronies.
Sakura tells you, I do not believe Finger and Morgana are evil. Just because they were taught by Palm, not mean that they would die for her. There is something to say about the blood relationship with Finger and her. But I'm willing to bet my life, not only in words, but in the physical fact that I'm traveling with them, that I will come back in one piece. And should they turn on me, not even their dust will remain.
Hopefully they're not put in that situation of having to make a choice to turn.
And she's been through a lot, and she's changed a lot over the years, having casted yet another friend to the mouth that feeds. Rumors that she's done it before have sparked the table. But Sakura, she's had a rough life. She tells you, as long as in the end, the world, nature, can find peace, I'll be happy. But this endless bout, it does weigh heavy on even the best of us. Be careful. You have the replica. Your mission is far more important than mine, even if the world's eyes are always on me.
Good thing, Lady Sakura. Oh, and here, this was a gift from the mermaids. And I'll bring out this like very beautiful seashell that like when you look at it, like the colors are just like feel like they're just like shouting out at you. It's not magical or nothing. It's just very like filled with like fey energy and just gorgeous. The more you look at it, it brightens your day. And I will give it to Lady Sakura.
And she loves it. She didn't say as much, but she has a smile on her face, and she doesn't smile as often anymore. She puts it under her wooden plate, and she tells you, safe travels, number 10.
Of course. And he'll get out of there. Or he'll wait for the other two, obviously.
Yeah. By the way, there's an illusion playing. A passing of time. Pharrell's just showing the table some of the funniest stuff that happened at the college event against the Metal Rain troops. And as they're all going through, it's almost like watching a movie, but it's just an illusion. Eventually, one party comes in, and there's a young girl with red hair. And you see Morgan stand up and yell impossible before storming out.
Which one of them is a journalist? I need to make sure to avoid them.
Well, they point to the one that made Morgan storm out. For some reason, her presence seemed to severely anger him, like he was seeing a ghost or something that is impossible to have seen. But yes, the reporter is an elven grove, red hair. Quite tall, I might add.
Al-Sahar quickly takes out a piece of note paper and quickly scribbles down a description. Alright, perfect.
Remember, it gives you guys all one of these. Potion of superior healing.
What?
Nice.
In the goodie bag, there are also those cookies we mentioned. And there's other amenities, some basic water and stuff, even though you guys are mages. It's nice to have the casual stuff. A compass. And some polish for your rings. You know Fimmer put that in there. He's always polishing his ring. It's almost excessive.
It's like his class ring.
Yes, so he's classful.
Boros will actually see that that Morgan left without his bag, and he'll take his bag of cookies.
When you guys are leaving, Finger walks up to Al-Shahar. She tells you, Elsbeth would love to take Armada's gauntlet. You know she has Mouthers in her employment.
I'm sure she does. It does make for quite a pretty magic item. Between the gauntlet and her wheel, if she wasn't at this deceased, perhaps she'll end up coming there then.
Just be careful, Al-Shahar. Everyone's concerned about the fragment of the Arcane Wheel. But if they were to remove your gauntlet from the equation, what could us casters do against a Malther? Or some of us are rune warriors. She lights a fire under her nail. But all of us are not.
Duly noted.
Morgana didn't say anything. She kind of feels she's kind of pissed that everyone just kind of lumped her in with her previous master. She gets it. She understands, but it still doesn't feel good.
Take care in the Fairlands. I'm not sure what she might be skimming that area, but likely, given its location, she might have quite free mobility and ability to, if she is moving troops through there, she might have some trick to have them move through undetected, unseen.
She nods to you. But she doesn't say many words. Finger used to talk a lot when Palm was here, but ever since Palm left, she's been extremely quiet. It could be for the obvious stigma that's occurring, but you also think that it's more than that. She really, really cared about Palm, which doesn't help her case. Ella walks you out, by the way, kind of grabbing you by your arm and going, come on, let's go, let's go. Tell me how the cookies taste. We all know I made them now.
Don't worry, I'll make sure to give a comprehensive review on them.
Listen, Al-Sahar, you gotta come back alive so I can teach you how to play that piano. She laughs.
Death won't stop me from that.
In any case, are you gonna set out tonight or are you going to leave in the morning?
I suppose that's up to my compatriots, but I think I could sway their ears one way or another.
Absolutely. If you do decide to stay, you guys are welcome to sleep in the tailor shop. But perhaps it's time to begin an adventure and get away from the politics.
You read my mind.
We staying or we going?
Duty calls. Stay safe.
Is Morgan still actually out here?
No. He stormed off. Sorry.
Okay, good. No, good. I didn't want to talk to that dirtbag anyway.
No. He ran out the moment he saw that reporter girl. Like his whole life just changed.
Let us go. And then actually, is there like a chamber of like teleportation circles that you could like teleport back to the hermit?
Yeah, any of these orbs in here will suffice. You touch them, you think about where you want to go. It is limited to Icarus, but it's a convenient way to move around the city after a meeting. So it gets you right to the port.
Gotcha. Do we need anything else before we embark?
Well, I can think of something that might tie me up at Taylor's shop. And then he notices you both looking at him. No, I'm good.
Do we have exactly where we're going? Or are we just gonna go into the sea?
He thinks for a moment. Bring us a map. He like shout out back into the room.
And you see Pharrell will provide you one. Here you go.
Okay.
You should already have one. It's the wrapper to the cookies. Of course, Ella's a bit dramatic.
Very clever.
You see where nutrition facts are for the modern day. On the back of her nicely wrapped cookies, which probably Boris tore to shreds, is a tiny map.
He'll kind of ground and snatch Pharrell's bag.
Which then he points out, he goes, you have another bag because you have Morgan's bag. But Pharrell doesn't that type of fight, so he just kind of walks away, and Ella comforts him. And yeah, you touch the orb, and do you have any like badass line before you're ported to your ship?
He'll put his hand on the orb. To retribution. No, the port. And then they'll warp over.
Excellent. You guys would arrive at the hermit. And almost like it knew Boris was coming, the moment you arrive on its steps, it begins to pull out of dock and take you guys towards the ocean. And you guys are right here.
Welcome to my home.
Have we been here before? So you
Up to Boris.
If we talked about that, I don't know.
I don't know. You've probably seen it before. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I feel like almost no one's seen it at the inside of it before.
Okay.
Nice place. And has a hermit been on a training regime? He seems a lot more muscular.
I've been around more than the previous owner of the ring. I put him to work. By the way, the previous owner named him Eugene.
Ah,
And this is the current name, is that right?
Yes, Eugene has not told me otherwise.
All right.
So he stays Eugene.
I will. Good day, Eugene. Thank you for letting us come aboard.
Blows bubbles out his mouth.
That was terrifying.
That's just probably like loud.
Yeah, it's real loud.
I've taken down giant enemy crabs before, but nothing this fortified. Truly, Eugene is a specimen to behold. His weak underbelly is even guarded by the house. Ingenious.
Then I guess probably a plank kind of extends out from the the lower part of the building and goes back up to the port for them to walk up on.
And you can see the the wheels, the water wheels on the side. Do those have a proper name? What are those called? I would just go with water wheels. Good enough, right? Those water wheels begin to spin as Eugene pulls out of the port and into the ocean. And on the horizon, the moon goes down and darkness falls. Who knows what's going to happen next? But at least it's beautiful, and at least it's with friends, and at least it's on the back of Eugene, who I might add, Boris has any kind of amenities he desires inside. Hopefully it's good company and it's good time. Hopefully you all had fun tonight. This was our introduction, very slow and political, but don't worry, there's going to be a lot of action. Eventually you're going to tell me to slow the fuck down. But that does conclude today's session of Crimes Against Magic. Thank you all for playing.
Thank you for tuning in.
See you next week.
As always, it's your boy Falcon, and I'm Eugene out.
Have a good one all.
Peace.